Once said, I've never had bullets fly by my head, but I've experienced freedom because of men who did. Forever thankful to every veteran's sacrifice. This is Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Finally, a podcast 100% about veterans. Looking at veterans making a difference in the veterans community. We'll help veterans and we'll spotlight veteran-owned businesses and businesses that support and hire veterans. Plus, guzzle down some amazing coffee. Welcome to Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Now your host, Tree McLean.
Woo! I got stuck on the button there for a second there. Good morning. How you doing there? My new guest today is, let me get his name up here. He's an Army veteran. And Raymond Amador Jr.?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. I didn't ruin it. That's good.
No, it's easy. You say you're a window and I'm a door.
Hold on. I forgot the... There we go. Yep. So, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, man. It's just another day working and just enjoying life and getting ready for Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah. Well, I got a bunch of stuff to bring up. Real quick, I just want to bring up, you live in the Spring area, right?
Yes, sir. I live in Spring.
And they have up in the Woodlands area, they've got the restaurant Fogo de Chao.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing 50% off to veterans.
There you go. You can't beat that.
No, you cannot. No, I actually went around and messaged a bunch of restaurants around town and everything, and I probably did at least 100 restaurants, and I only got replies from 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah, nobody even said boo about them, and even ones that were doing stuff last year, they didn't even reply about it. I was surprised.
Well, I know military.com always puts out a list of all the restaurants that are doing veteran discounts.
Yeah, but I think your Applebee and the ones like that, they're always on there. They're still going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. All your big chains pretty much always doing something. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of the mom and pop places because it's things be a little better.
Yeah. I've got a mic stand on my bench here, and I've got this Rode mic, and it weighs a ton. It keeps dropping down, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going down with it. But yeah. So let's hear about what you do for a living nowadays.
Right now, I'm currently a military program manager for SAM Companies. Corporate headquarters is in Austin. SAM is survey and mapping. We've got 40 offices in 13 states, and my job is to focus on the company's veteran initiative, locate veterans that are interested in getting into survey and mapping, and putting those service members into the various buckets for my recruiters nationwide. So it's a huge initiative. Our goal is to be about 20% veteran employed. Right now, we're at 8.5. I suspect we'll be 10% by probably January, February, and then we're going to pursue the 20% target, and then we'll go from there.
Well, shoot, sign me up, because I saw some guys out the other day surveying, and their truck was parked underneath a tree with their windows down, and boy, they were sound asleep with their equipment out on the side of the road.
Probably waiting on the construction guys.
Like, man, I like that job. They're getting paid with their feet hanging out, and I was like, I like that.
The thing about surveying it is, if anything gets built on land, you got to survey it. So we have multiple industries, and we always have work. And we pursue a lot of the commercial industrial work, energy, renewables, the Department of Transportation, roads and bridges. So it's a good job. And SAM Companies has a great program. And the company has put together the DoD Skill Bridge. Industry partner employers are part of that. We've got a great internship, and we're going to develop a Department of Labor apprenticeship program for surveyors. And that program should be able to get our guys that complete the apprenticeship get them some college credit too. And in the state of Texas, it's a 2-year degree. Associate degree is enough to get you a license as long as you go through the appropriate steps. It's a great opportunity. Most veterans their skills are transferable because I mean it's guys doing navigation, map reading, assessing the terrain, accumulating data. So most of your service members can transfer their skills into the survey industry.
Awesome, awesome. So they hired you to hire veterans, and that's because you're a veteran yourself. So let's hear a little bit about your service.
Well, I spent 17 and a half years in the U.S. Army. Um, 14 and a half of those years, I was in the airborne community. I was with the 82nd Airborne Division that's my regimental affiliation. That's my pride and joy. I went to 18th Airborne Corps Artillery, where I was chief surveyor for the Rapid Deployment Force. And then my last assignment before I retired, I was in the Joint Readiness Training Center as an OC, training battlefield, doing battlefield simulations with the light infantry.
I should have had on my co-host today. She's airborne herself. You might, I don't know, you might even know her. She lives up in the Spring area. There she is right now, jumping. That was her jumping over Normandy for the 75th anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she took a selfie. Yeah, her whole family's veterans. Just her last name.
What's her name?
Well, her married name is Marino, but her maiden name's Gonzalez. She's got 2 brothers, and then she got her father that's also airborne. Her husband's airborne. She's got a couple sister-in-laws that are all Army, and then her brother Jeff Gonzalez runs Lone Star Warriors Outpost.
Okay.
The softball league.
I know Jeff Gonzalez.
Yeah, and her name is Janice.
Oh, okay.
Janice Marino. Yeah, she's a hoot. So.
Yeah, I know Jeff from his Warrior Outpost.
Yeah. So I've had him on before. Yeah, we're going to do a podcast with his whole family one of these days, and we're going to call it All in a Family Gonzalez style.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've been involved in veteran advocacy for quite some time. I've been in 5 different nonprofits, and currently I'm vice president of Texas Veterans Outdoors.
Okay.
So yeah, we provide outdoor activities for the veteran and his or her family. We focus on keeping the family together and doing outdoor activities, just to rekindle their relationships.
Yeah, being in the outdoors is just an awesome thing to have, be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to fix my mic again.
You can see it's tripod.
You can see it slowly dropping down.
You had to get you a little tripod for that.
I just got a text message from a buddy of mine. He goes, "Hey, I'm sitting there watching the mic go slowly down the side of your picture." Oh, yeah, it was too funny. So I was noticing your wings on that shirt there,
Yeah, that's my Jump Master wing with the 82nd Airborne logo on there.
Yeah.
It's Veterans Day, so I'm wearing my military gear, if you will.
Yeah. So when you go in?
I went in 1980 and I got out in 1997.
Wow.
So
you got out before it all started, huh?
Yep. I was there when we transitioned from, Cold War to, where we are today.
Yeah. I was in there in the 80s and early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, what we did in the military back then is so different from what it is now. We still had, Vietnam era veterans that were first sergeants, sergeant majors, and senior commissioned officers. And it was the mentorship was tougher, but at the end of the day, I felt it was more rewarding.
Yeah. We had pilots that were Vietnam veterans flying our helicopters. My unit had UEs and 58s and Cobras in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they were then in the 90s, they started to transition into the Blackhawks and the Apaches.
Yep.
But then a bunch of those Vietnam veterans phased out and retired and so forth. But yeah, there were some interesting stories coming from those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there was no politics, and if it was there, it was minimal. You never saw it,
Yeah. Yeah. So were you able to get involved in Desert Storm?
Yeah, yes, sir. I was deployed to Desert Storm.
Yeah.
I ended up being the plugger instructor for most of the units where we were located there in Saudi, training them on how to utilize the first GPS in the battlefield.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So what do you have coming up this week? Anything for Veterans Day?
Actually, on Thursday, I'll be at Gillies in Dallas, where we're doing a red, white, and U job fair, a veteran job fair there. It's Gillies from 10 to 2. So if someone is in Dallas area and they're a veteran or veteran spouse, or just someone looking for a job opportunity, feel free to visit the Sam Company's booth. And on Friday, I'll actually be speaking at a intermediate school in Spring. It's actually my younger son's school. The principal is also a veteran. She knows me for what I do, so she reached out to me. So I'll be speaking to the school then.
So if you're interested in getting into surveying and mapping, you can check out the website sam.biz, B-I-Z, and you can look into it that way, or you can give Raymond here a call at 346-498-7485 for more information on joining or signing up with them.
Yep, and we are hiring. It's a great company. They truly are passionate about what they do, and they're passionate about hiring veterans. They
Awesome.
see the difference in quality of veterans employed in the company.
That's great. Yeah, love hearing about that stuff. So yeah. I actually have a bunch of people I need to. They said yes, I'll mention your events this weekend. This is old Coach Cap. He's a boxing coach down at Combined Arms. He has this event coming up this weekend. It's his boxing match coming up. Honor and Glory Freedom Veterans Day showcase. Kids are free. They're like 6 or younger. There's a fee for adults and so forth, but he's going to have Ray Mercer out there and so forth. I myself, I'd like to be there, but I'm not going to be doing much of anything this weekend or week. I got another wonderful leg infection, so I'm staying home and taking it easy and healing up and getting better quicker. But Coach Cap will be out there, and he's going to be doing that. And then, of course, we have Tejano's Veterans Association Veterans Day Appreciation Luncheon down at VFW Post 6378 in Dickinson, Texas. They're having their Veterans Day Appreciation Lunch Saturday, November 12th at 12:30 p.m. What else we got here? We got Houston Salutes American Heroes Friday, 11/11/22. That's for the parade. They're going to have a parade here in Houston for that. I was kind of wondering if they were going to cancel that because the parade they had yesterday,
That was I saw that on TV. That was madness.
Oh, I could not believe the crowds there. I was like, wow. I mean, the streets on the side were like 800 people deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No thanks. No thanks. Hey, you want to see a funny photo here?
Yeah, go ahead.
There you go.
Oh my God.
That's Bailey, my service dog, giving Navy SEAL Morgan Luttrell a kiss.
Oh God, that was crazy.
Yeah. We were at the VFW Post in Tomball last week and helping them out. And they had a stuff a bag event where they filled 10,000 bags to, along with the USO, Mutual of Omaha, Berkshire Hathaway. They were there, and they were all the volunteers putting together these bags and giving them out to they'll be just sending them to the troops and so forth. So, and then we got a Veterans Day celebration steak dinner. Dinner from 6 to 9 p.m., 4500 Travis Street, done by the VFW, Cloud Break, and U.S. Vets of Houston. It's a huge homeless shelter for veterans. So there's that. What else we got? Of course, the Marine Corps birthday.
Yep.
Hoorah. This is actually a party at Texas Tailgate Sports Bar and Grill. It's this Thursday night, 7 p.m. So you can go check that out.
Where's that place? Is that up in Conroe?
No, that's in downtown Houston.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's off of I'd have to bring that up. I cut and pasted that off of Facebook. So yeah. And PTSD Foundation America Camp Hope annual barbecue cook-off, November 11th and 12th. So there's still time to sponsor them, I guess, and do some volunteering if you want to as well.
Yeah.
And then I got a listener up in Georgia, and they've got their second annual Ruck March, GI Garage Limited. They're having their second annual Ruck March. And if the flyer I got from them wasn't all that clear, black and white, but that's the name of their garage, GIG Garage Services. It's area code 470-297-4498. They're in Cumming, Georgia, and they're having their second annual Ruck March up there.
Good for them.
Yeah. So that's all I got. And if there's any other events, I'm sorry if I missed you, but I asked on social media, and that's what I got. So, yeah. So, you got any funny stories to tell us?
Oh, man. Oh, God. If only. Well, when I was in the military, I was Fort Bragg. I was a platoon sergeant. I was a master driver, and I was doing the master driver program for the battalion. And I was doing fairly well. And so what happened was the battalion commander wanted me to go ahead and move over to the maintenance platoon to work with them directly because the work that I had done, I did it really well. So I ended up being a platoon sergeant for the maintenance platoon. And we picked up this soldier that came in, and God love him. I swear his first pair of shoes was the combat boots because he's a young kid from the hills of West Virginia. And he had some issues. Long story short, I ended up having to go by the numbers how to shower, literally. I escorted him into the shower, had him take off his clothes, get in the shower, and I'm talking about, washcloth in your right hand, soap in your left hand. This time, clap your hands, vigorously rotate your hands until you create lather. Have you created lather? Yes, Sergeant. Okay, continue to create lather. Now, this time, put the soap down, take the washcloth with your hand. Now, start with your left hand to your right hand and start creating lather on your hands. And I mean, I literally went from head to toe how to physically take a shower with a washcloth and a bar soap. Long story short, he ended up getting released. And then a few months later, my command sergeant major, he called me up. He said, I need you to come to the office. I need you to come ASAP. So I ran to the office, ran to the sergeant major. Said, yes, sergeant major. He said, stand by. You got a few minutes. The phone call's coming in. Phone call comes in, and he puts it on speaker. He says, yeah, this is Mrs. Dybert. I need to speak to Command Sergeant Major Amador. And it's this kid, the only thing he remembered was my name, and all of a sudden I got promoted from a sergeant first class to Command Sergeant Major between the time he left and the time he ended up in the VA hospital in Virginia. It was crazy. I ain't going to get into the details of all the things that happened, but the mechanics made him buy his own tools. He got put on the overweight program. would disappear at a hotel in Fayetteville for the weekend and gorge on pizza. It was a very unique experience. Like I said, I won't get into the military jargon and some of the things that actually happened, but I give you the clean version.
We had they put a Polish soldier in our basic training platoon, and here's a guy that never showered. He just stunk. Oh, he stunk horribly, and he spoke very little English, and so forth.
Mhm.
And people were like, "Hey, let's give him a blanket party." I said, "No, he won't do me any good. He won't understand why.
Mhm.
You know, we need to give him a bath. We don't. He doesn't need a blanket party. He needs a bath."
Yeah.
And we'd shove him in the shower and hand him soap, and he would just stand there like, "What?" He wouldn't shower. So we're on a road march, and he's ahead of me, and the smell, it's hot, and the smell's coming off of him. And I said, "This is horrible." As we go across this bridge, it's maybe 15 feet above the water,
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at it, and I tripped and fell and knocked him off the bridge. He fell right in the water. And Drill Sergeant McLean, go get him. I said, "Yeah, Drill Sergeant." So I ran down the hill and I got him, and I got him by his rucksack, and I'm
Doing a rinse.
it's a major rinse cycle. And Drill Sergeant says, "Are you trying to drown him, or are you trying to give him a bath?" I said, "The bath."
Crazy.
Yeah, but
Yeah. And when I was in JRTC, this is actually a pretty cool story. Um, we had several former Soviet countries that were looking at you know looking at the American doctrine for military American doctrine. So they came and we trained them, and I had a Romanian platoon, and of course they had single point leadership. So the lieutenant was in total control, total micromanagement, just like the Russian doctrine. Well, I'm trying to, teach them, myself and the captain, and we're working together trying to educate them and teach them, but he kept, taking control. So we finally went to their civilian escorts that were there with them and said, look, we need to teach them how to do this, and he needs to back off and allow the sergeants that he has to do what sergeants are supposed to do. Long story short, they went ahead and just took him away. And he went to go to the PX, he went to go do shopping and do his thing. So it worked out really well because we were able to have the sergeants take lead and go through the entire process. And then we come to the end and we're doing the AAR the next day. And the lieutenant's back and everyone's looking at me thinking that I'm going to just hammer him. So I said, look, at the end of the day, you know, y'all, the way y'all are set up is this lieutenant is in charge for all of y'all and everything that y'all do. You eat, sleep, everything. I said, he was away from y'all for a day and y'all had issues. So instead of fighting him and him taking control, things didn't work out that well. And things didn't work out that well when he was here. So it makes more sense for you guys to go ahead and understand y'all's roles and responsibilities. You know, that commissioned officer is, big picture, assessing things like that. And then your first line supervisor, your sergeants, you guys are responsible to teach, coach, and mentor your service members to ensure that they can fight, win, and survive on the battlefield and execute what he sees needs to be done. So it worked out really well. I mean, it was good. And long story short, the Russian attaché there offered me a job to go be a consultant for the Romanian army. It was cool. It was cool. It was really pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. So,
Yeah, my mom was a retired federal service herself. My father's Navy and so forth. There's hardly, I can maybe count on one hand how many men in my family dating back to the American Revolution
really?
didn't fight for our country. I mean, even my grandfather, his three brothers fought in World War II, and he tried to sign up, and they said, "No, you can't sign up because you're blind in one eye."
Huh.
So he came back to his hometown and became a volunteer firefighter, and he eventually became a a battalion chief or something, and so forth. As a firefighter, because he was like his fire department consists of all women, because all the men were fighting, but he was like one of those, very few that didn't fight. Yeah. But yeah. But mom, during her federal service, she was up in Quantico for some training, and they had some Russian police there. And mom's on the elevator after class is over, and the mom says to the Russian guy in there, said, "What floor are you on?" And he kept saying, 6, 6, 6. And mom's like, "There's no sixth floor. What floor are you on?" And he keeps saying, 6, 6, 6. And mom finally figured it out, and she's just like, I think she just exited the elevator. He was saying sex, sex, sex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, we were up at Fort Hood one time, and I was in the reserve, so we were out in the field, and they had a bunch of soldiers from Pakistan. I think it was Pakistan. And they were using the showers and restrooms we were using. And you can go, well, they let us go up there and shower daily and so forth. You had to walk down there and so forth.
Yeah.
But they were up there, and they were like only washing their feet, and they'd only wash them in the sink.
Yeah.
And their feet are precious and all this, so they had to wash them in a sink. And we're like, well, that's where we shave and brush our teeth. We don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's when we made up an idea. We made an outside shower using a water buffalo and a bunch of PVC pipe. And yeah. And we stopped going to those showers because of that. But oh man, I was like, ugh. But yeah,
when we were in Saudi Arabia, it was, the showers, they did more than just shower in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
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 They took care of everything, then they washed up, and don't shake their right hand, because that's what they use to freshen up, if you will.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Make sure you got them shower shoes on. Yeah. I was in dollar store here in Houston a couple of years, well, probably about 5 years ago. And on the wall were shower shoes, all black ones. I said, "These are $1 a pair?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Really?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "I want all of them." They said, "What?" I said, "I want all of them." They said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So I got 177 pairs of shower shoes. And she goes, "What are you going to do with these?" I said, "I go through them quickly." So I got a huge cardboard box to put them in, and I put them in my truck, and I took them to Camp Hope.
Yeah.
And gave them shower shoes, for the guys there, so they'd always have a stock of shower shoes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So.
And I remember I was just up at Camp Hope last week, Friday.
Yeah.
I took my talent acquisition manager from Sam. She went over there, and she had some time to meet with a couple of counselors and do just a little tour of it. And it was good. It was very eye-opening for her. It gave her a chance to kind of see, what happens when veterans don't have employment and they have idle time. The end result could be they end up in there, or even worse, end up committing suicide.
Yeah. Or end up in veterans court.
Yep.
Fixing that mic again.
I'm telling you need to get one of those little camera tripods and put it right there in the front.
Man, this thing is, it's just, the mic is great. The stand sucks. Yeah. So, I should build a knife called the Patriot knife. And I built 411 of them, and I had to stop because of my health. I couldn't stand up to make them anymore. And I used to build them and donate them to Camp Hope for their cook-off. Yeah, those are them right there.
Oh, I like those. Those are awesome.
Yeah. And I built 4. Those are the chef knives I would do for cook-offs. And then this was like one there. I would do a knife like this and give it to organizations to raffle off and so forth. and I awarded them to individuals that would do real well in the community and that stand out and do a lot for. I did it for veterans and first responders and so forth. But yeah, I built 411 of them, and I got a bad hole in my ankle back in November,
Uh-huh.
and I get these openings in my legs, kind of like a diabetic would get, but I'm not
Uh-huh.
diabetic, and it's from my poor circulation in my legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew this is a bad one because I've had them for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
And so I ended up shutting down my big shop in January. I had a 2,000 square foot shop where I did my metal work and leather work, and I taught veterans on how to do metal work and leather work and
Mm-hmm.
so forth.
Yeah.
And it killed me to shut down the shop because I love building those knives.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to the wound care center. I still have a pencil eraser size hole in my leg.
Really?
It's about a quarter of an inch deep. But that little hole right there can take 3 months to heal.
Wow.
So I go to the wound care center once a week every year. In fact, I got to go today at 1 o'clock. I didn't go yesterday because I was just still feeling too sick to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick up infections very easily. I've caught numerous infections while fishing, and I had to quit fishing from it. I had to quit riding horses and had to quit a lot of stuff because of my legs.
Wow.
And it was nice being able to do the knives and donate them, and it gave you a great feeling and so forth. And I used to tell people because of my disability and have so much pain, I have an addiction. And they say pain meds. I said no, giving. I'm addicted to giving.
Yep.
And that's why I used to build these Patriot knives and give them to people. I mean, they'd go to auction and it would sell for $9,000, and the guy'd say, "Hey, I want to donate it back and sell it again," and would sell for another 9,500. And that happened at an auction one time.
Cool.
And it sold for $18,000 or $18,500, and it just
Mm-hmm.
was amazing. I've seen them go for 12,000. I've seen them go for 14,000. A bunch of 6 and 8,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they was
That's
raised a lot.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that?
I'm the same way. I cannot help but to just continue to give, man. I mean, it's like I tell people, our enlistment, our oath of enlistment has no expiration date.
No.
So we still,
Soldier
I mean,
for life.
I still feel obligated to help out. Make sure they have a smooth transition, and that they have a good, life
Yeah.
in the civilian world.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I just with my health and everything, I just can't do the volunteering I used to do. So it was nice to have the Patriot knife to do.
Yeah.
But the wound care center's got a new product they're using on my legs that promotes circulation and healing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really working, and my legs really feel good.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
thinking about maybe trying to find a spot to open up again and start doing knives again because I enjoy
Mhm.
building them so much, and I'd like to do some more Patriot knives and to donate. I'd love to hit 500.
How
Yeah,
many you have done so far?
411.
Oh, okay. So you just right around the corner of that 500.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I have actually 9 Patriot knives in the making right now that I had to stop, and some are individual knives or awards and so forth. And some of the guys know about them. They said, "How you doing? How you feeling?" They want their knives. And I said, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't blame you, and yeah, because I have a list of people that want them, and I want to give them to them because of everything they do in the community, you
Hmm.
know." But they raise a lot of good money. I mean, I can donate my coffee, and that's why I did the coffee to help people out and so forth with my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll do coffee gift sets, and it'll go $400 or $500 at auction for a gift set of coffee.
Can't beat that.
No, not at all. So it's a good thing. But that's since I'm not building knives, I had a little free time, and that's why I started this podcast so we can get word out to
Yeah.
veterans, and if they need help or assistance or anything, we can do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the good thing is, not only do we have the Skill Bridge program, but we are pursuing the public-private partnership P3O, which is helping employment with the U.S. Army Reserves, the employment support for the Garden Reserves. That's a national outreach also. We're pursuing that. We're going to get our and hopefully get our apprenticeship completed sometime early next year. Also, we'll have apprenticeship programs for veterans, which will be able to give them college credit if they get into a discipline that's within the organization. And the good thing is, even if they use their college credit, the company has 100% reimbursement for any college or university level education relative to their occupation in the company.
Sounds like a great company to be working for.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited. Um, the culture is it's a team culture, and they open their arms for anyone. I mean, I've started in my fourth week, and you know I've been able to do so much, and they're very agreeable to what I want to do as far as the veteran programs. And I mean, people I don't know are supporting me and helping me and pushing me and giving me opportunities to bring in more veterans. In the last month, I've had 5, 8, 17 veterans that have reached out. So, I mean, I've got 17 veterans I could probably get employed within the next month or two based on whether they're direct hire or get into the skill bridge program. So, I mean, it's huge, you know.
Oh yeah, I know the Army has surveyors working for them.
Yeah. Well, all branches have some type of surveyors. The Navy's got combat Seabees, so there's surveyors in there. The Air Force has their Red Legs, and they do more. They do also have surveyors in engineering, and of course, the Army has the Corps engineers and then the engineering branch within there, and I think even the Coast Guard has some people that do some, construction work for their facilities, their Coast Guard bases.
I have a high school friend that was in the Coast Guard and the reserves, and he went to work for a company that does directional drilling and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses navigational skills that he learned in the Coast Guard to navigate the drilling.
Yeah, yeah. That
Oh yeah.
People don't understand. I mean, and one of the things I try to do is educate myself in the veteran skill sets and the civilian skill sets, and try to find the transferable skills and be able to educate the veterans on looking at it. And I tell them, I said, look, if you want to get out and do basket weaving, you know what? Go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn, and find people in the town you're going to go home to, and start asking about basket weaving. And you'll be surprised. People are going to reach out to you, say, yeah, I do it. And the next thing you know, you develop a relationship. And the next thing you know, you've got a prospective job before you even leave.
Yeah.
Networking is a huge thing. Social media, if used correctly, can help you in your career. It's helped me.
I had a Marine come to me. He came from Camp Hope, and he wanted to learn how to make a wallet, a leather wallet. He wanted to learn how to do some leather work.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought him in my shop, and I showed him how to tool leather and to do stamping and so forth. He really got into tooling, and his name was Eddie, and he was quite messed up. I mean, yeah, that poor kid he was a mess, and he'd put on his headphones and listen to uh, Metallica and Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed, and and just he'd be rocking away, but he'd be tooling leather like there was no tomorrow. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like he was meant to do leather work. And I kept complimenting him on it and so forth. And he goes, I want to build my dad a biker wallet. My dad's a biker in Pennsylvania. And I said, okay. So I taught him how to make a biker wallet. And he made his dad a biker wallet with a chain and everything. He dyed it. He was so proud of that. And he sent it to his dad and everything. And his dad wrote back, what prison are you in? He goes, He goes, I'm not in prison. I learned it from a guy that was actually law enforcement.
Yeah.
He was on the other side of the bars, but he didn't learn it. He learned his craft from a saddle maker and so forth. But
Well,
yeah, he said, "Oh, what prison are you?" And I laughed. But Eddie went to a camp up in Tomball area that they did that fishing ponds on the property, and
mhm.
he caught a bass, and he loved. He's like, man, I could not believe how much fun it was to catch that bass.
Yeah.
Here we go, the mic again. And he caught this great big old bass, and he was so proud of that. And I said, have you ever been fishing in the saltwater down the Gulf Coast? He goes, no, never been. I said, I'm gonna get you hooked up. So I called a guide, buddy of mine. It's a fishing guy, and I said, man, I got a Marine he's got really bad PTSD, and I'm teaching him how to do leather work, and he caught his first fish, a bass, and he's hooked on fishing now.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, and I said, he would like to go fish in saltwater. Can you hook me up with a trip for him? He goes, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll take care of him. So he went and he said, man, I got a whale on. I can't believe this. And he caught this little jackfish.
Yeah.
And those jackfish, you can have a fish that's 12 inches long, and it feels like you got a 36-inch long fish on.
Yep.
Because they fight so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you got to be kidding me. That's as big as it was. I'm wiped out, But he caught some big redfish and everything,
Yeah.
and he caught a stingray, and then he caught a little shark,
Uh-huh.
and he was so happy to catch that shark and everything. He got into it big time. And a buddy of mine down in Florida, I was talking to him on the phone one night, and he said, he goes, hey, you know anyone needing a job? I said, what for? He goes, well, my family's marina. I could use some help down here, and I've seen if you know any veterans that want a job down here. I need someone to clean boats,
Mm-hmm.
and they can even sleep on a boat at no charge,
Yeah.
And his family owns a huge marina in Florida with all high-end yachts and fishing crews in them there. So I asked Eddie, I said, you want a job? Excuse me. He goes, doing leather work? I said, no, fishing. He goes, someone's going to pay me to fish? I said, well, they're going to pay you to clean boats, big yachts and offshore fishing boats all on the coast. And you can sleep on a boat and everything. He goes, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, I'll do that for free. I said, no, they'll pay you. They'll pay you. So I bust him over there, and now he's a boat captain.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm like, man, I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah.
The hair on my arms just raised up talking about it because, I was so proud to have helped him. It was neat seeing the smile on his face when he built his dad that wallet. But man, when he found out about getting that job, and he fishes every day, and he's still cleaning boats, but he's also a captain of boat and doing guided fishing trips out of Florida.
Good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
it was a neat thing. I wish I still had that shop. It was a lot of fun. And I had a female Army officer that was in a bad explosion, IED, and she lost her right leg, and she had the replacement leg and so forth, and she had her right arm was quite messed up too, with scarring and so forth. And when she was trying to get strength back in her arm, and the doctor was telling her about exercises she could do, and so I taught her about tooling leather.
Yeah.
She got into tooling leather, and she got really good at it. And a camp up in Utah for kids hired her as a counselor.
Uh-huh.
And she was teaching them how to do leather work and everything and so forth. And she's doing a lot better because of that. And she loves doing that leather work. Yeah. So, yeah. I wish I could do that again. That was a lot of fun teaching the veterans how to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know Forward Operations Base FOB.
Rod.
They're teaching guys. Rodney Lopez.
Yeah. Rod's a good friend. I spoke to him last night via text message.
Yeah. Good guy. I know him personally, really great guy. And he does a lot, to help on the guys learning the construction skills.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
between work and his nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tried to. I don't know if he ever. I don't think he did, but I found a group up in Conroe called Camp Valor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's run by the Gene Birdwell Foundation. And Gene Birdwell's is one like the I'd say founding fathers of Camp Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I think he donated the land that it sits on is actually his construction companies across the street. But Gene broke away from Camp Hope and he opened up another camp up in Conroe called Camp Valor.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there and visited them, and it's a neat company, a neat organization. There sits on 9 acres in the country, and they're dealing with veterans dealing with substance abuse, alcoholism, and PTSD. And it's a full time. You can live there and so forth. They've got a big 2-story house with counselors, and then they have a barn and a. Here we go again with the mic. I got to fix that. That's no good. So they've got I think 3 extra buildings now. They're like construction buildings. They turned into dorms like.
Mm-hmm.
And Rod was going to build the stairs, and one of their guys kind of went off the deep end and was supposed to get all the lumber set up and so forth through an account they had up at Conroe. And Rod was going to go in there and build the stairs. And Rod gets out there, there's no lumber. And that's when this guy went off the deep end, and we almost lost that guy. They
Really?
found him on the side of the road.
Hmm.
And they almost lost him. They put him in he was in a coma, and they said, if his temperature doesn't come down, we're going to have to pull the plug on him. But he made it through, and he's doing a lot better now. And now he's up in a facility up in Huntsville. And I discovered that facility through Hart's Museum. Have you been to Hart's Museum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had a signing ceremony for a client out of Dallas that I did for a Department of Labor apprenticeship program, and I went over there and met with them, and I ended up they gave me all their flags to use as a backdrop for the event.
No, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see their Vietnam Wall they have?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I
Oh,
love
it's
that
great.
place.
Yeah, so do I. They sell my coffee too.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Now I know
That's,
where to go get your coffee.
that's right. You drink coffee?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got Patriot Knife coffee and I got Bailey's Brew coffee. And I've got a new company I just started, Saddlehorn Coffee Company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
But,
I got a buddy that I think I reached out to you and told you about it. He's starting his own little coffee shop. He's going to do a coffee truck and then a brick and mortar.
okay, I
And
was gonna ask you about it because I never heard anything from him.
I'll have to reach out to him and have him give you a call because I know he's been
Yeah.
busy trying to get all his finances in order to get started. I know he's got a truck he's trying to get cleaned up and ready to start running.
Well, I'll work with him on some coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, have him call me because is he gonna be roasting it or just brewing it?
No, just brewing.
Okay, then have him give me a call and I'll get him hooked up, help him get going with coffee and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you already have roasted, coffee, it's a veteran-owned coffee company, and then he'll be getting veteran roasted coffee from you, so it's a
Yeah.
good combination.
Yeah. So there's that's my Bailey's Brew Coffee Company right there. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I've got a bunch of neat flavors. You might like some of these flavors I got. Let me turn off this caption real quick
Okay.
so I can bring those up to show. I've got my E4 Mafia Crazy Coconut.
Okay.
I got my DD214 Alumni Bourbon Pecan Coffee.
I like that.
This is a dang, hold on. This is Marty's Mountain. This is a buddy of mine, Marty Parker. He joined in the 90s in the Army, and he loved drinking Marty's Maker's Mark whiskey.
Uh-huh.
I did too. And he gave me a bottle of Maker's Mark whiskey, and he worked for the beverage companies at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, yeah, when I get out, let's have it. We'll have to drink this bottle. I said, yeah, sounds good. So he gave me that bottle of Maker's Mark, and I had it in my closet where I keep my uniforms at and my old Cochrane boots. And one day Bailey was in there, and I heard her collar hit something like glass,
Uh-huh.
and opened up that closet door, and there's a like a area in the back between two doors that connects, you know.
Uh-huh.
And she'll go back there and just sleep back in there, you know. And I opened it up, and between my Cochrane boots was that bottle of Maker's Mark whiskey. And I went, son of a gun, I never got to drink this with Marty.
Yeah.
And he came back, and he continued to try and climb that mountain trying to get off alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because his drinking got even worse. But I think he did over 20 years. And I think they medically retired him because of his drinking.
Yeah.
And he continued fighting his drinking and his demons, and he pretty much drank himself to death.
Oh Lord.
So I was like, I can't drink this bottle, and I hate to throw it away. So I said, well, I'm gonna make a blend of coffee called Marty's Mountain, and when it sells, the profit from that will go to pay for the coffee at Camp Valor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave some to his mom, you know, the coffee, and she was all excited. And they sell it in a little store up at Chapel Hill where she lives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I had like a little shot of that Marty's Mountain in that bottle left.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I quit drinking 20 years ago, 19 years ago. What's it going to hurt, I love the taste of it. I love the smell of it. I'm not going to get drunk.
Yeah.
So I took that shot. And it burned going down my throat. And I went, wow, haven't had that in a long time. Wow. And then I'm sitting there going, what is wrong with me? Why is my stomach feeling this way? And now it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God. I took off running to the restroom. I got so sick. I had a headache like there was no tomorrow from one little shot of bourbon. I was like, oh my God. Well, combined with my medication, I'm on.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So I gave his mom the empty bottle,
Yeah.
But, I'm still making that blend with his name on it. But yeah.
Cool. I like that. That's awesome.
That one's available. And then I've got 100% rating straight bourbon coffee. It's got the VA disability calculator on it.
I like that.
And then here's a good one. An apple a day keeps the doctor away because hopefully because who really wants to go to the VA? Apple coffee.
I like that.
We got a butter bar breakfast blend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So where's my Bert? Oh, here we go. The sound only a soldier would love. Bert. The sound of the A10 Warthog.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I did a whole line of coffees for 1st Cavalry Division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I make a blend for them called Cross Savers. Medium dark roast coffee, and they sell a lot of it. They sell a ton of my coffee for me, and they it's actually slowed down this year. I can't believe how much it's slowed down, but they have it in their newspaper, and they have Savers Gift Shop, and they sell it at the Savers Gift Shop. So I did different blends for all the brigades.
Yeah. Cool. I like that.
Yeah. So one of the brigades, they had a comic at Fort Hood. And excuse me. Her name is Robin Phoenix Johnson. And I had her on the podcast, and she's funny as ever. She's a hilarious comedian. There she is right there.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get her down here to Houston for do a comedy skit. But she has 18 comics working for her that are all veterans or spouses of veterans.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So while she was at Fort Hood, hold on. I'm losing my voice here. While she was at Fort Hood, one of the brigades gave her a bag of the coffee. and she's actually a retired lieutenant colonel out of the Army, and she was at a Fort Bragg, I believe. Yeah, Fort Bragg. Her husband's an Apache pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's funny as ever. She's a hilarious woman, you know. She told her husband, she goes, "Hey, I want to spice up our life a little bit," and he goes, "Okay." So she goes, "Here, I bought a stripper pole. Install it." You know. So he goes, "Okay." So he tells her it's installed, and she goes in the bedroom, and it's installed horizontally on the wall, and it's got our clothes hanging on it. He goes, "I figured it worked better that way." Just wanted more closet space.
That's funny. Oh God.
Yeah. So she's a funny gal. So I had them on again. She's now what's called my specialty co-host, and she's reporting. She has 18 comics, so she's going to bring them on once a month and talk about their next upcoming shows and so forth they're doing in different towns and so forth. So she's going to continue to stay on. She's a really funny gal.
Cool.
You know, yeah. So she's good. Yeah.
Now, where's she based out of right now?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got her husband's family's from down there, so where she lives, she's on the coast. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a funny gal. So, what VFW posts you go to? Any of them?
I'm registered with the one in Tomball.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we go. I go there once a month for school.
Oh, okay.
Bailey and I go to the Rescue for PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And their great organization has done at the Tomball VFW post.
Okay.
And we were there last week, and they had the fill the bag event where they got all the volunteers filling bags that go to the USO to our troops and so forth. And they had Mutual of Omaha there and so forth helping. And that's where I met Morgan on the trail, and Bailey got to give him a kiss and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a neat, really neat post out there. Ty Cobb is out there. You know Ty Cobb?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. So yeah, I hang out with a bunch over on in Spring Branch, 8790.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Hector.
Well, Hector's got his own American Legion post now that I'm a member of.
Okay.
Post 654.
Yeah, Hector and I know each other very well. I saw he was one of your co-hosts.
Yeah. So yeah, he comes on. I'm trying to get him on. We're going to do another. He and I are going to get together one of these days, and we've got a female going to come on. She makes wine. I'm gonna have her on, and Hector's been to her shop and everything. So yeah,
good.
Yeah, but I thank you for coming on today.
It's been a pleasure, sir. It's nice just having a little conversation, catching up.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's enjoyable. I can't believe no one's come. I kept checking the chat because usually Jeff Gonzalez, he jumps on there and makes comments all the time or says hello. You know, he must be actually working today.
Yeah. We all got to make a living, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I actually gotta go fill some coffee orders right now.
Cool.
Yeah, then I gotta go to the wound care center. Woohoo! Yep. So I appreciate you coming on once again.
Hey, Chris, it's truly been a pleasure, and anytime you need me, I'm there for you.
I appreciate that. Just got to bring up one thing: our sponsors, real quick. Patriot Knife Coffee Company, patriotknifecoffee.com. Use discount code podcast and save 20% off your order of coffee. Or check out Charlie Mike Military Apparel. That's Raul Marino from Charlie Mike. He also has Charlie Mike the podcast, along with his co-host William Garay, the Stash. And they have their podcast on Thursday night at 7:00. Great bunch of guys there. So check them out if you would. In fact, I heard that Charlie Mike is now available. Apparel is available through GovX. So you can get your discount through there. But check out Charlie Mike Apparel or patriotknifecoffee.com. So, all right, man. We appreciate you coming on. And I have one last thing I always say is never let them be forgotten. Thanks again, Raymond. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, sir. You have a blessed day. God bless you all.
You've been listening to Vets and Coffee, the podcast. As you can see, veterans and coffee are Tree's passions, and we want to make a difference in the veterans community. And with your help and continued listenership, we'll do exactly that. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. See you next time on Vets and Coffee, the podcast.